Now, David has already told us that the weather up there in the Perth area is, quote, grey and nondescript. It's pretty grey in Plymouth, Rhonda's grey, Pembroke is grey and cold, but Hampshire and Norfolk...
Let's get back to our breaking news story for you this hour. Police have arrested a woman holding a
little bit of snow on the Highlands in Scotland,
near an
apparently,
underground
so
train station in
dropped
northwest
there.
Moscow.
Global warming,
we can show you a quick still from a video
well, we'll kick off with
dressed in black.
The truth, and the Express is revealing here that Whitehall buried the report. Of course, that's not quite true.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Milner, how'd you get so good so fast? Well, I wish I could answer that easily, but I can't because I'm great in so many ways. But we'll get to that later. Sitting here with my trusty Fujis. There's a plug. A couple of things I want to talk about. One, I have a new sort of thing coming up with my essay magazine. For those of you who don't know, I publish a magazine in 2 sizes called Essay. There's a magazine size and a trade book size, and these are a tribute. This whole magazine series was done for 2 reasons. Number one, a tribute to Life magazine, the original, which I was published in 1 time. And that's sort of a tribute to the era of the picture essay, the picture story, when that was the heyday. Now it's been obliterated, it rarely ever happens, but back then it was fantastic. And 2, I wanted to show photographers how easy it was to do this. There's so many people sitting around out there waiting for some magazine to do some spread about them, and in the meantime they could be doing their own magazine about their own work, so that in case someone asks for it and they said, what was your story, what did it look like, at least you would have a way to show them what it was originally intended to be seen and how it was originally intended to look. I'm amazed at how many people find reasons not to do this. I think these are they're a little less than $10 a piece. They are publicly for sale, but I make 0 effort whatsoever to sell these. That's not the intention of why I did this. But if you're out there and you're desperate for a publication, you could buy one. I've done 4 so far. Eventually there will be many more, but I have many other fish to fry at the moment. The last thing I want to talk about before we get back to the dope action scenes is I want to talk about Apple. So I went to T-Mobile yesterday, day before. A friend needed a phone. They're in there messing around getting their phone, and I have an iPhone SE, which is probably 9 months, maybe a year old. And of course the person at T-Mobile's like, Jesus dude, you need a new phone. And I'm like, no, this is fine. I have a little pack that I use when I'm hiking and backpacking and cycling, and the phone is the only one that's small enough to fit in a little pocket above my head. So I'm like, it works. I don't need a giant phone. I don't need a new phone. And then this morning I'm sitting there and it says 20% battery, and the phone just goes, and it dies, and then the battery thing starts flashing, and I'm like, I didn't hear the pff, but internally I felt like that was what was happening inside the boat, like the little crew in there rowing to keep the phone alive just was like, ah, and keeled over, and then the phone died. And so I started thinking back. I bought a MacBook, it came with a faulty hard drive. I bought an iMac G5 that came with a faulty power supply. I bought a tower that has a bug that they admitted was in there, but they couldn't identify it and couldn't fix it. I still have that tower. Blurb gave me an iPad, it broke. They gave me a second one, it broke. I'm on the 3rd one. Then I bought an iPad Pro for myself, which is still working. I actually kind of like that device, but it's limited, but I like it. And then we go back to the phones, and it has been a disaster from day one. Everything from Apple I get breaks. I pay top dollar and it breaks. And the thing is, I don't want to go Android. I really don't. I don't want to switch over. I had a Samsung before. It was great. A Note 2 back in the day, like 180 years ago. Everyone made fun of me and said, that's an idiotic phone. No one is ever going to use a phone like that size. And now every single one of the people that criticized me or made fun of me, they all have plus size phones. So guess who was the trendsetter? Yeah, that's what I thought, people. Anyway, let's get back to the dope action.
Yeah. Turn away from the pain. Turn away from the pain. Turn away from the pain. Shout out to my leaders who leave it on the line. Keep striving for better, it's all about the grind. Fingers crossed, hoping for some better days. It's a shame they never praise better ways. Pretty soon we'll all lose our senses though. Senseless events always lead to new offenses though. Our children will never know how to read and